Hello and welcome to the Greater Reston Living Podcast, where we cover everything happening in Reston and Herndon. And as always, we have a big show for you guys today. We are going to be talking about two bigger topics, one of which is we've got the latest numbers in about what's happening in the Reston housing market, and there are some surprising findings. So Kathy and I, we're going to dig into those a little bit. We'll keep it short. We're not going to get data crazy. Just going to take a look at a couple of numbers so people can feel informed about what's happening. But you're going to want to stick around for our conversation about some updates and changes that the developer at Halley Rise is asking for as they try to move on to the next phase of that project. So many of you know Halley Rise from Wegmans, but it's been just Wegmans and that other apartment building for quite a while and empty parking lots. And they're planning on doing something with those empty parking lots. So let's talk about what that is. And we're going to dig through all of that. All right.
Let's go.
That sounds like fun, right, Kathy?
Oh, well, so much fun.
Hang on. Before we get started, then let's chat about some of the other bits and bytes that have happened around the area. One is, did you see that crazy headline? JW Marriott's second new record price. So we had a second sale over there. How much was that for?
$10.9 million, which broke the record that was previously set at $10.25 million.
Yes, which everybody had something to say about when that happened, right?
We had something to say about it, but now almost $11 million for a condo at Reston Station?
I'll say it's more than a condo, right? Because it's actually two condos, right? It is the penthouse. I think this one is for the actual top unit, whereas the 10.25 was right below it on 27th floor, right? The top floor, the new sale was for the 28th floor. And in each case, it was for the entire floor, which was originally built to have two condo units there. So I think they are breaking down the barriers between those and making them into full-on, how many thousand square feet? I think it was over 6,000 square feet.
Something like that. They spent 2 years renovating it, so it was custom done for them and ready to move in, but $10.9 million.
Yeah.
But it does have 360-degree views, so you can see everything from Shenandoah, DC, Tyson's.
The whole works.
I wish I could get up there and take a peek at it.
I mean, we've been up pretty high in the building. I forget what floor, maybe the 16th floor or something like that.
I want to see the penthouse.
Yeah, the views are going to be better from up there because you're going to be able to see over top of some of the other taller buildings that are there in Reston Station as well, like that BLVD, Halley, or whatever it's called. Kathy, I think people are out there. I've seen it on Reddit. I've seen it in the comments section on these sites like Fairfax Now. People are saying, why would you spend $11 million or nearly $11 million in a penthouse in Reston? Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I kind of asked that too.
Disagree? Okay.
I mean, the JW Marriott is beautiful and the amenities are amazing. You have the Simon downstairs.
It's a nice building. It's quality. It's well done.
But the location, everything literally is right outside your front door.
Or it will be soon enough.
And you have people waiting on you hand and foot because you have the concierge service.
Right. So there's a certain degree of service. So people have to put, I mean, I'm not saying, it's worth it or not worth it in this particular case, but I'm just trying to get into the mindset of someone who would spend that kind of money on a place like that. I think the mindset is, this is a place where I am being served, essentially. I'm going to come, somebody's going to park my car for me. I've got concierge service 24 hours a day. I can, have...
There's a gym. There's a lounge.
Right. There's just a ton of...
There's a dog park.
Services, dry cleaning services, things like that a hotel would normally... Laundry services, I think. There's a variety of different kinds of services that you would get not only, at a luxury apartment building, but also that a hotel can afford too, right? So it's one of the reasons why you might buy a condo that's associated with a hotel property. And then you're in the Reston Station area. You're not just buying it for what the Reston Station is now, but you're also buying it for what the Reston Station may become. And, so there's, do people value the idea of being able to just walk downstairs, go to some nice high-end restaurants? The spa and fitness area is a luxury fitness place at Vita, things like that. So I'm just trying to put myself in the mindset. I'm still not sure whether I'd spend $11 million, but somebody spending $11 million probably has hundreds of millions of dollars to spend.
Which is true. I mean, if it was me, I would prefer to have a house on the lake. But that's just me, because my dream is to be on the lake with a pontoon boat. So
I mean, I love living on the lake. I love the idea of that. But if you also wanted walkability, sure, you can walk around the lake. That's not really what I mean by walkability. That's, recreational walking. And, but, you have Lake Anne, where you have great, restaurants and places to go, which I like. You and I like that. And then the other lakes are usually a little more quiet.
Yeah.
You're not going to have any kind of walkability other than recreational walkability. So,
but at the JW Marriott, you're just kind of walking downstairs to have everything that you need and everybody's going to do it for you, which does sound very lovely. Like, I would love that. So,
okay. So you're convinced now you're going to spend your millions? Okay. All right.
11?
Yeah. Well, Kathy, if people have been following you on your stories on Instagram and Facebook, then they might have seen that you actually finished the public art scavenger hunt in Reston.
Determined to finish it.
How was it?
It was so much fun. It got me out and about, and it was challenging because, it took me 3 different days to do it. Like the day we went out and we filmed the video.
Yeah.
And
so
then
for folks who don't know, a couple of weeks ago, we started the scavenger hunt, and we filmed a video you can find on YouTube Shorts or Instagram or Facebook. It's a real, vertical video. Okay. And so we did it then, but you said it's not enough. I don't want
do a video
audience
without finishing it.
Yeah, you needed to be authentic, right? Authentically you. That's you. I will say.
That is me. Yeah.
That is you. You want to finish what you start.
So even though I've been thinking about it, I had the map and, where I'm supposed to go sitting next to me in the car. And I was like, all right, well, where am I going tomorrow, or where will I be this afternoon? So I started mapping things out. So for the first day that I did another 2, then yesterday I finished it. The other 4, it wasn't really hard to do. It was fun. And then it was like, I'm pulling up to the different locations. I'm not going to tell you where they are. And it was like, all right, am I in the right spot? And they were easy to find, but you needed to kind of get out of your car and look a little bit. So that was fun.
Well, I'm curious if anybody in our audience either saw the video earlier, saw Kathy's stories. Did you go out there and at least start the scavenger hunt? Did any of that inspire you to get started looking around at the public art and documenting some of it? Let us know in the comments, because I'm curious. Aren't you, Kathy?
And so probably by the time this airs, because we're filming this, what day is today? Thursday. It's over on the 15th, so Saturday. So the last piece that I need to do is, I had to take a selfie in front of every one of them, and now I need to just get it over to Public Art Reston to be entered to win for a $500 gift card.
You better get it in. Don't leave points on the table. Don't leave points on the table.
But then it's not only the gift card, there's other prizes too. So
okay.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I'll be a winner.
Maybe we'll have an update.
You were a winner this week with one of the scratch-offs, and you won a whole $2.
Okay. Thank you.
Winner, chicken dinner.
I'm glad everybody knows that. All right. Cool. Okay. So there'll be an update on that. And can't wait.
If I win,
we can't
that'll
wait.
be next week. I can't wait.
Okay. Cool. So
it was fun. It was fun.
We still have 2 more big topics that we got to cover for everybody listening. So we want to, don't forget, we're going to be talking about the changes in Halley Rise. So just hang on for a minute. We do want to quickly go over a couple of data points for any of you who live in the area. And specifically, we got some Reston data points to go over.
Not just if you live here, Graham, if you're thinking of buying or selling.
Or moving
in
here.
Reston.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, because these are things that people should know about, because everybody cares about the value of their home or how much they're going to spend on a property.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we just got in the latest data. So we put together a blog post that goes through all of this. We'll link that in the show notes for you if you want to see all the details, because we're going to fly through this pretty quickly. Even though as Kathy knows, I'm kind of a data nerd, but she always prompts me to say, hey, make it simple, right? People don't want to get mired in all of that. All right, which I get.
Because you can talk about this for days, and we're just not going to do that today.
Yes. In fact, should I let me zoom in a little bit on this so we can get our graphics a little bit better here. All right, so here we go. So the fastest selling home in Reston costs more than $1 million. So we are talking about, and this is kind of interesting stats here, is that the number of days on market and how much these homes cost. And it's a detached home in Reston is 9 days on the market. And they are a median price of $1.1 million at this time. And then the next lower price rung, townhouses, their median price is about $709,000, and they take about 13 days to sell. And our lowest priced product, so to speak, in Reston is condos. They're taking 26 days to sell, and the median price is $391,000. So what we've got is sort of like an inversion of what you might expect. Especially if you're thinking, well, the economy is slowing. It's, not super favorable to get out there and buy because of interest rates or what have you. You would expect that lower priced homes might be the ones that sell faster. But in fact, we're seeing it's the opposite. And this is not just a Reston trend. This is kind of a trend across Northern Virginia. And in broadly speaking, it's a national trend to some extent as well. Kathy, any surprises on any of that data from your point of view, or does that match pretty much what you've been feeling?
It's matching what we're seeing, what we're hearing, and what we're sharing amongst other agents in the area.
Yeah.
So we're calling this the summer of the condos, because the condos, they're sitting a little bit. And so, for people that are looking for a condo, it could be a really good opportunity to get in and secure a property.
Right. At a good price at this point.
Yeah.
Speaking of condos, here's a chart that shows you essentially what we've called inventory, or in other words, how long does it take? How many homes do we have to sell? How long will they take to sell? And so basically, we're looking at condos at 3 months of supply, meaning we have enough homes on the market at this moment that based on the pace of the market, it will take us 3 months to sell them. And that's pretty high for what we've seen in Reston over the last 5, 6, 7 years. 3 months of inventory it's been a long time since we've seen 3 months of inventory. Now, condo market for anything. Now, the condo market, that means essentially, and Kathy, help me make sure I get this right. So usually anything under 2 months, we consider that a fairly strong seller's market. It's a seller's market to a strong seller's market. If you're in that 2 to 4 month range, usually we consider it to be like a balanced market. And then if you're in the, anything above 4 months, it would be a, pretty severe buyer's market. Yeah. But it feels like it's been so infrequent that we get over 2 months of inventory in our area that when you get 3 months, it feels like a buyer's market. Right. Now, it's not really, because it is more balanced. Prices are not dropping. They're holding relatively steady. They may be dropping from 1 month to the next, but then they increase another month. So they're holding relatively steady. So it's not like, anybody who's looking to sell will not be able to sell. It's just that you have to have patience if you're selling a condo in this market.
Especially because everybody's looking at what the condo fees are. And there are some condos that have extremely high condo fees. So buyers are taking that into account.
Yeah. And and I think a big part of that is the condo fees, like you say, is kind of strangling people right now because there have been some changes that the government's made. Well, I should say Fannie Mae and Freddie Mae, who underwrite the majority of all the loans out there, who finance everything. They have made changes to put the squeeze on condo associations such that now they have to have larger reserves, better insurance, all kinds of things that have just made the costs go up, and therefore condo owners are finding that their fees are going higher, and that's probably causing some people to want to sell.
Yep.
Why we're seeing
Truth.
increase
Now,
in that. Yeah, go ahead.
We said we were going to move this along, so let's move on to the
Move me along.
Let's move from the condos.
Yeah. Okay. So just the one last thing here to kind of show and bring home the point. A little table that we have here is, again, you can see million and above homes, 14 listings that are active, 14 that were sold in July. That equals 1 month of supply. So we're turning those around quickly. Then we go to the next band of 10 townhouses, 6 to 800,000, 20 of them for sale, 19, or 20 of them active, 19 got sold. The same, about a 1 month. Townhouses, the next lower, entry point for townhomes, 500 to 600. There were 11 of them and only 7 sales. So now the inventory is creeping up. So you can see how this is working, and that basically the inventory keeps creeping up as we go lower in price. And it's just sort of an interesting point that I think.
We were a little surprised when we looked at the numbers and we chatted about it. You would think that the lower priced townhouses would go quicker, but not necessarily the case. But with that being said, the average age of a home buyer right now is 40.
Yes.
So people are settling down a little bit later, have more money for a down payment.
And I think a lot of people, if they're settling down later at the age of 40, they're getting married later, things like that, then they usually are not wanting to settle for a condo. So they hopefully saved up some money. And that's one of the reasons why they've delayed. And so they're buying at higher price points, which might explain why the higher price points are going faster.
That's what I was thinking.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good insight there.
And so it's 40 years old, but since they're settling down, like I know for our children, like they're like all over right now. So they're taking advantage of the opportunities and traveling and doing things that, like we didn't do. So, and we bought our first house pretty young, but yeah, it's interesting to see the shift.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense. It totally makes sense.
Hopefully that did not bore our audience too much. I hope that there was just enough data to, give people a sense, but also not too much that they understand, like, okay, I understand which direction things are going and what have you. So how'd I do?
So you're going to say,
okay?
Great. So let's move on. They're probably bored. Let's go.
Okay.
Next
topic. Thank you. All right, guys. So if you've been driving by or going shopping at the Wegmans for a while, you've been wondering what is going on over there at Halley Rise. The parking lot has been taken over. They put some paid parking areas back there. Some of the areas are part of Reston Crossing, a development that is separate from Halley Rise. We'll have to show that on the map if I can. But we're starting to see some movement happen in for the next phase. At least we're starting to see some updated development plans. And one of the big reasons why it's taken a little while is because the original developer who was planning on building the next phase of the blocks over there that are currently empty ended up selling to a different developer. So we have a new developer who's taking a fresh look at the plans and making some updates. They're not wildly different, but there are some differences in the plans.
Well, let's just simplify this. So Halley Rise is not proposing a bigger development. They're just reshuffling what was already approved. And the biggest change is that they're putting more housing closest to the metro and moving a major chunk of the office space further south. So I know you're going to want to dig into this.
Of course.
And share what's going on in all the blocks. But, you know, that's kind of a little bit of summary. They just had a meeting on the 31st of July. So nothing has been approved yet, but this is just still in the works.
Okay. Well, we're going to go through this. We've got it all laid out on the blog. We'll put the links in the show notes for anybody who really wants to dive deeper. But we have the opening image here just to give people an idea. We're looking north into the Halley Rise from, oh my goodness, I can't remember what the name of this road is, but we'll figure it out in a minute. But Reston Parkway is along here, and you can see the Reston Town Center in the background here. But if you go over here, you can see this is the Wegmans building. Okay. And then this is what's the other one called? The Arbor, right? So we have the Edmund, the Wegman is the Edmund building. And then we have this one called the Arbor. And across the street from the Arbor is where you're saying, Kathy, they've now oriented it with office buildings. So they were closer to the existing office buildings. So you can see this one on the left, another one on the right. Those two already are there.
I'm just going to ask, if I'm orienting myself, you know how we always like to go to that little garden?
Yeah.
Is that the garden right in front of those office buildings?
This office building right here is where that garden is.
I thought the garden, you see that little plot of land right in front of it? They're not getting rid of the
this
garden.
Here? No, this is going to be a park. We're going to go through that in a minute. But that garden, yes, they're getting rid of them. This will become this office building.
Wait, what? That makes me sad.
It's a temporary thing.
It's so cute.
Okay, so let's go through this. Let's take a look. Here's the overview map rendering. So again, what they've done is they've broken this thing down into blocks. So we've already got Block F built out. That's Wegmans and the Edmund apartment building. And then we have the Arbor with Block C and Panera and Chase Bank, I think, is there. And Block A already exists. Block B already exists. Okay. It's all of these areas, D, E, G, and H. I guess they don't have an F because they don't.
Yeah, they don't.
Oh, no, we already have F. It's already, it's
yeah.
F,
where
F
the Edmund is
where the Edmund was. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're left with D, E, G, and H. And the new developer, again, this is a proposal they've put in for, updated plans so they can get them approved and everything, but is not a dramatic change in terms of the overall footprint. It's just like relocating certain things. And I think the logic that they're using to relocate these things is sound. But the mix of what they're relocating stays the same, right, Kathy? All right. Can you give us an overview of what they're talking about? In terms of, just so people don't remember what was supposed to be there. What are we talking about? I know there's going to be a hotel, there's going to be office space. Roughly, what's the scale?
2 office buildings, 700,000 square feet of office space, 75,000 square feet of retail, buildings up to roughly 250 feet. And they're going to have a 1,504 space garage, and that's going to be completely underground.
Wow. Okay. So that's good. We want parking to be underground, right? We don't want to see it, at least. And here's where those two office buildings are going to be in the D block.
Block D. Block D has the
Yeah.
two large office buildings.
All right. So, and those are the first parts that we're talking about building is this block D and block E and this new park pavilion that they've brought closer to the existing ponds that are right now in front of those two older office buildings that are there. And let's take a look. First of all, we can look at some of the architecture here. So you can see, again, some rough renderings. They did make note in their application for approval that they are trying to mix up the different looks of the buildings, use architectural details in unique and different ways, like in this case, it's like exposing the steel on the exterior of this particular building. They're not going to be identical buildings. They're different heights, things like that they highlighted. Of course, retail now all at the bottom, so it should be a much more vibrant place to be. Here's some examples. So in that block D, those two office buildings that were going to be sort of twin office buildings, they would be bisected by a little park space that you could walk through that will lead you toward the back end of the development and closer to the metro, and eventually link up with the roads that are going to go through what's called Reston Crossing, which is another equally scaled development, or even a larger scale development that we covered a different time. I don't know. We'll have to note which episode we covered that in if people want to go and look at Reston Crossing. Looks cool, Kathy, right? So far, what do you think of these buildings? Okay.
I think they look nice, and
I
love that they have the green space because that's what everybody wants. They want the green space. They want the parks. They want places to walk.
That's right. There does seem to be green on top of these roofs, so that's nice. Maybe there's a green element to those. That could be cool. A little more Restonian, right? Some unique architecture. Then they made a big deal about the park, right? So different ways of seeing how the park might be. Like you can see that it's a pavilion. There could be music, bands, concerts. Right now, there are concerts at Halley Rise, so maybe this is the future spot for those concerts, right?
Yeah.
The weekly concert series. Here's another rendering. So it looks like a cool place to kind of hang out. Seems like there's a bar area or something over here. What is this? Different ways of setting it up.
That. Yeah.
That
looks like a lot of trees.
So I think, because there's going to be office buildings here, there's going to be people living over here. They're going to have places to go and hang out. They want to see entertainment, but also just hang out during the day. And then some spots to, chill, maybe grab a quick bite or potentially, play a game with a friend or something like that, right? Because you got to think of these more as like urban parks. Sipping some coffee, get your Panera, come on outside, that kind of thing. Presumably there'll be some more, kind of walk-up restaurants, things like that. Here's a look at that little pavilion walk, or I don't know what to call this, little walkway between the two. Pedestrian walkway through the building. So they've got, a little way to meander, places to sit. So looks cool. Trees. And they're calling it Hayfield Park. So yeah, I think here's generally, if you want to know what the sizes of the buildings might look like, we forgot to mention about the hotel, right? So the first two blocks,
we hadn't gotten to that because I was gonna interrupt you, but I did not.
Please do. Just do.
So what we talked about, block D and E, and then we should talk about block G, which is going to have roughly 450 more homes. Well, let's call them units. The hotel and retail. So 450 residential units, almost 3,900 square feet of retail, and a hotel with up to 200 rooms.
So that's going to be in this spot. So essentially, that's right next to the Wegmans. Oh, so I misspoke earlier, Kathy. That block D is not where that garden is that you like. The hotel space is where that garden is. So it's still going to be replaced, but you have that garden a little longer because this is not happening right away. Right?
I'm sorry, they should not get rid of the garden. It's too cute.
Sorry about that. Progress coming. And what do we have for this final
Block H?
Yeah. Did they say?
They're saying this could become the new front door to Halley Rise. They're planning on, or what's proposed, 391 residential units, 800,000 square feet of office, and almost 109 square feet of retail. So potentially a very large mixed-use development.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd love to know what people are thinking about this. I
will tell you what some people are thinking about this, because every time we bring up a new development, we have people saying, are they going to pay the RA dues? Are they going to pay the $890 per year? And, if they're going to be using the Reston amenities. And what do you think?
Well, they're not going to be. I could say they're not going. Well, I should say they're not going to be paying for.
But they'll be using the trails and.
Maybe. I think a lot of the people who end up living in some of these places, most of them don't get out and about onto the trails. These are people who are tend to be looking more for the urban lifestyle, so they're less likely to go, onto the glade or. Around one of the lakes. Some of them will, but, I don't know if that's, those are semi-public spaces anyway. They're not going to be part of the pools.
People learn about all the fun stuff going on in the.
Well, they can certainly go to the fun stuff. You can go to Lake Ann events. You can do those kinds of things. Those are all public events. It's really more of the.
I'm just saying that's what people are saying.
Yeah, you can't use the tennis courts, though. They won't be able to use the tennis courts. They won't be able to go to the pool. Those kinds of things. Not unless they buy in. They can buy in as non-members. But, yeah, I don't know. Yes, it'd be great to add more folks. But most of these people are going to be renters, right? These are not, as far as I know, they're not going to be condos themselves. They're going to be apartment buildings.
I feel like they just keep talking about it as units for rent. So
yeah. Yes. I think people are going to be upset about this development because many people in the area are. Some people will be very happy about this development. There's always two sides to that coin. I just want to remind everybody that this Halley Rise project has already been approved. The new owner of this section is simply trying to reorient some of the existing approved items and maybe making a little bit better plan than once was there. One could argue that, but it seems logical to me.
They're just shuffling things
around. Yeah.
But it's the whole same concept. It's just maybe how to do it differently that makes more sense.
Exactly. All right. Good show today, Kathy. Everybody out there, please subscribe to this podcast wherever you like to do that. You can listen or you can watch us on YouTube. And we do have a Reston Insider newsletter if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening in the area, all the top events, all the news that's happening. We're covering just about everything, trying to keep up with it all for you. Sign up for that. And if you are ever thinking about making a move, either to or from the Reston area or anywhere in Northern Virginia, for that matter, give us a call. Kathy and I would love to work with you.
Or if you have any questions, just
drop us a line.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're always happy to talk about all the good stuff.